and the topic of today's short talk is never meet halfway. So I'm going to be talking about this in the context of the game of mating and dating. So let's say that the two of you matched, or you've been hitting each other up, and it's time to set up that first date. You live here, and she lives there. So where are you going to meet? Well, as the title of this episode makes clear, you're absolutely not going to meet halfway, and I'm going to explain to you why this is the case. First and foremost, we have to understand what a date is. Here it is. A date is connection plus sexual possibility. That's the definition of a date. Connection plus sexual possibility. A date with sexual possibility but no connection is not a date. It's a hookup. Likewise, a date with connection but no sexual possibility is also not a date. It's an interview. A date is connection plus sexual possibility. Note, I'm not saying connection plus sex, like the sex is guaranteed. It's not, but for a date to be a date, the possibility that the connection becomes sexual must exist. And this, my friends, is what makes the date God's perfect creation. Because when everything goes right, both the man and the woman get what they want. The woman gets her connection. She gets her attention and her emotional engagement and her validation. She feels heard. She feels cared for. She feels safe. And since the connection comes first, it gives the woman time and opportunity to have her arousal cultivated, which is important because woman's arousal is typically more reactive and less spontaneous than man's. And when everything goes right, the man actualizes that sexual possibility with a sexual encounter, which is pretty self-explanatory. Ideally, both parties are satisfied as each has given the other what they wanted. Perfection. So, within this context, it should be clear why meeting halfway on a date is not a good idea. If you meet halfway, it becomes increasingly difficult to realize the sexual opportunity. Where are you going to go? You're just as far from her place as you are from your place. Are you going to get on the subway? Are you going to drive your separate cars in one direction or another? It's silly, because it doesn't make logistical sense. And if it doesn't make logistical sense, it's much less likely to happen. To facilitate a sexual encounter, there should be as few obstacles in the path of that trajectory as possible. And this, my dudes, is your job, because as the man, you will be expected to plan the date, and you will be expected to move the relationship in the direction of a sexual encounter. Women rarely do either. In fact, if you leave it up to them, what is the date that most women propose? Let's meet for a coffee somewhere in the middle. The impracticality of a sexual opportunity in this idea is no accident. It's by design. As I've discussed, in the negotiation phase, women are attempting to secure as many resources for as little sexual opportunity as possible, while men are attempting to secure as much sexual opportunity for as few resources as possible. And anchoring at this point in an initial interaction all but ensures a less satisfying relationship for the man. This might make some women feel safer, because there are few things less conducive to a sexual encounter than drinking caffeine in a brightly lit cafe in the middle of the day far from any bedrooms. However, it suffers from one fatal flaw. It's not a date. This is because there is no sexual possibility here. This is a screening interview, which is ironic because, as I've discussed, it's the men who do the hiring. Meeting for coffee halfway is the female equivalent to just coming over for sex, which women typically don't do. So take a page from the ladies' playbook, gentlemen, and don't agree to courtship interactions in which sexual opportunity doesn't exist. It's one side getting what it wants, imperfection. Now, before I go any further, if you're liking what you're hearing, please consider sending this episode to someone who might benefit from its message, because it's word-of-mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. You can also hit the thanks button and tip me in proportion to the value you feel you've derived from this episode. I'm also proud to announce that my book, The Value of Others, is now available for pre-sale on Amazon. I'm also writing original content for my free newsletter every week. If you'd like to sign up, you can do so on my website. Finally, please fill out an inquiry form on my website if you're interested in booking a paid consultation. Links to everything I just discussed in the description below. Okay, let's get back to it. From a logistical standpoint, in order to facilitate a sexual opportunity, you need a place to easily go back to. The more difficult it is to do this, the less likely the opportunity will actualize. This means that the date can either be planned close to your place or close to her place, which means that it should be close to your place. Why? Because you can't invite yourself over to someone else's place, and the vast majority of women are not going to be initiating the sexual dimension of the relationship. She's not going to lean in for the kiss. She's not going to suggest you go someplace quieter. Do you understand? If she's interested, she's going to follow your lead. And it's much harder to lead someone into an environment that you have no access or control over. She also might not have cleaned the place or prepared the place for guests, or she may have roommates or live with her family. A woman might be ready to have sex with you, but she might not be ready for other people she knows to know that she has sex with you. To the extent that you can provide a clean, safe, private, and easily accessible environment, you will be more likely to consummate the sexual opportunity. Given all this, the only rational conclusion is that dates should be planned close to the man's place. Any woman who balks at this wants the connection and resources without the sexual opportunity, which, as we discussed, is not a date, it's an interview. Some women don't like this. In fact, when I've politely turned down offers to meet halfway, I invariably receive anger and criticism. And this, by the way, is also what makes this an excellent test of female character. It reveals as quickly and cheaply as possible how a particular woman responds to the prospect of not getting exactly what she wants. In any case, I've been told that this is selfish and disrespectful and unfair. I've been told that she expected that I would make more of an effort. I generally respond to these by reminding the woman in question that I'll be planning the date and paying for everything. So if the date is also logistically convenient for her, then what effort would she be making? Everything would be on her terms, which is not the basis of a give-and-take relationship, so why would I even bother? It's important for women to have some skin in the game. To my mind, showing up to an invitation is already kind of the minimum effort a person could possibly make. And if she balks at that, then her interest is likely too low for it to be worth my time and money, so this can also be a test of women's interest levels. Finally, it sets up the expectation from the very beginning of the courtship process, this is very important, that the woman is rewarded, that she gets what she wants by making an effort entering your frame, not the other way around. So let's recap. Since a date is connection plus sexual possibility, since sexual possibility is more easily actualized in a private, accessible location, and since men are expected to initiate and direct the sexual dimension of the relationship, then men should plan dates in their immediate vicinity. Failing to do so functionally eliminates the sexual possibility, which, given the fact that men transact resources for sexual opportunity and women transact sexual opportunity for resources in the sexual marketplace, makes it more likely that the woman will get more of what she wants and the man will get less of what he wants from the onset and over the course of the relationship. So you've been warned, gentlemen, if you allow this to occur, then it's your own damn fault. What do you think? Does this fit with your own experience? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your support and thank you for listening.